Hi teachers, my name is Matt Winters and I'm a trainer from Utah Education Network, and I'm so excited to be here with you talking about Google's Applied Digital Skills program. What we're going to be talking about today is our last in our series of videos from GEGUtah, Google Educator Group Utah, and Utah Education Network about Google's Applied Digital Skills program. Now this is the end of a series of 8 videos, but we're going to do another series later this year in 2022 on another 8 lessons. So look for that in May and June of this year. This last lesson is one that I think I'm ending on a high note, and it's one that I think every teacher in every building should be aware of, and every student in every school should do at some point. At least, if not this lesson, something very close to it. What we're going to be talking about today is a lesson called Understanding Your Digital Footprint, which is all about digital footprint, but also digital citizenship, and basically just being a good person online. It's something that is so ingrained and important into our society that we forget often with websites, social media, the internet, TV shows, all sorts of stuff, all the media we consume. We often forget that it's important to be a good person online and to talk about how we are using the internet in appropriate ways. So what we're going to talk about today is the lesson. We're going to spend about 20 minutes going through 25 minutes going through the lesson from Applied Digital Skills, talking about the different ways that you can work with it. And then afterwards, we're going to talking about a couple of remix options. Most of these are actually more kind of programmatic level stuff. So stuff that you could use in your classroom to kind of create a program around, or to share with other teachers so that you can get a program going in your school. So with that said, we're going to jump over to our Applied Digital Skills website and jump right in. So over on the site, folks, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you. There we go. All right. So this is our site. You can find this at go.uen.org/lowercase b, uppercase t, and the number 9. This site will be up for at least through 2022, if not longer. It will be updated when I have the second round of sessions in May and June. So be prepared for that coming up. Again, my name's Matt Winters. I'm a UEN instructor and trainer. I've been doing this job for about 6-7 months, and I'm very happy to be in this position. Before that, I was an instructional technology coach in a junior high and an ELA teacher for about a decade. So I have a deep appreciation of teaching students how to work online and working with their digital footprint. I'm also the GEGUtah co-leader with Kelly Cannon. You can join GEGUtah even if you're not a Utah teacher or if you're not certified, or both. We just share information daily with different ideas, and we share these videos out as well whenever we have meetups. And so go ahead and feel free to join us. My email here is mwinters@uen.org. We have my Twitter and my Instagram. Feel free to follow either one of those. Underneath that, you're going to find the quick links to all the lessons. Again, this is our last one we're going to get to in just a second, Understanding Your Digital Footprint. We have done 7 other videos. They're already up on YouTube and ready to go. So if you're interested, these walk you through the lessons, and then also a remix, multiple remixes actually, that you could use in your classroom in case you're not a big fan of, say, forms. There's a lot of ways you could use it with sites or various other projects. So feel free to peruse those as well, and feel free to use them. From UEN, I just want to point out that we have our Google Educator page, product page, lots of resources on here, all the videos that we've been working with. We also have a great site through eMedia that you can jump on and find lots of Google resources and information about all the different programs that Google offers. If you haven't watched EDU in 90 from Google, it's a great little series that walks you through all of the things that are new in Google for EDU. Every month it comes out about mid-month. This is January's. Feel free to watch it. It's on the site. We also have our social media and a Wakelet of UEN tools. If you are a Utah teacher and you don't know much about UEN, this will give you a good idea of the different tools that UEN offers to Utah teachers and what kind of things that you can glean to use in your classroom, from podcasts to Adobe products to Google to Canvas to Nearpod. There's a lot of different materials on here that you can grab onto and start using in your classroom tomorrow. All right, with that said, I'm going to scroll up to the top here, and over here on the left-hand side, you're going to find our menu. And these have all of the lessons that we've already done previously. And we're going to click on the very last one here, Understanding Your Digital Footprint. All right, on this page, just like all the other pages, you're going to find a link to the Applied Digital Skills lesson, which we'll get to in just a minute, an actual kind of screenshot of their page as well with a link. We're going to have a starter project, We have a GEGUtah and UEN lesson resource, which we'll talk about here in a minute. Some extensions from Google Applied Digital Skills, and then our remix options down below. And again, this week it's more programmatic stuff that you could use with other teachers, with all of your classes, with a school-wide program or a district-wide program, or if you're crazy like I am, a statewide program, which is really kind of cool. So feel free to jump in, and we'll talk about these at the end of the video today. There's some really cool stuff in these. All right, so we're going to go ahead and click to our lesson on applied digital skills. So again, you can click right here, or you can click in this box and it'll take you to the same location. If you haven't ever been to applied digital skills, and if you've seen these videos before, go ahead and skip a couple minutes. You'll be able to, this is kind of the same idea that I've talked about each video. So just want to make sure that's clear. If you've never been to applied digital skills, though, this applied digital skills lessons, there are hundreds of them. At this point, I believe it's around 180, and they keep adding monthly new lessons. Each lesson is comprised of a few key points. There's videos, starter projects, and extensions. And then also some of them have a quiz, which we'll talk about in a second. A lot of the lessons are then subdivided into categories. You can go ahead and search over here on the left-hand side by grade level, so late elementary, middle, high school, and adult learners. You can also search by digital tool, and notice that all of the Google apps are represented there, or you can also search by topic. So these are all of your content area specialties. Now, with any of these lessons, as you search for them, know that they are teaching the digital tool. That's the goal of applied digital skills. Google is trying to help you to teach the technical skills to use like sheets or slides or coding so that you can focus on content. And so I always think about this allowed me in my classroom and a lot of other teachers I've worked with to help students learn skills surrounding apps that I don't really use very often, like sheets and slides, coding, those sorts of things, and learn those in my classroom. Well, I was able to slip over into coach mode and work with them on the content, work with struggling students, work with students who are way ahead of the rest of the class and give them extensions and kind of help them out. With this website, it is a Google website. So if you are a Google district, this should be approved. Check with your technical director if not, and make sure that this gets approved. All you have to do is click sign in, and this allows you to sign in as a teacher, and you can start lessons that connect to your Google Classroom that you can give out to the students, and then you can track their work as they go through. Now, if they're not approved in your district, or if you're not wanting to have another login, which I know there's a lot of logins out there, these lessons can be used without a login. You can still do all the lessons without ever signing in or doing anything with it. So great options for teachers, great options for students. It's just if you have your students not sign in, they're not going to be able to track their progress. And then also their students aren't going to be able to take the quiz at many of the end of many of the lessons. So keep in mind those two things. It's helpful to know those. On the homepage of any lesson, you're going to see a big start box, a picture of the idea, and then also the name of the lesson and just some information about it. You can share this to Classroom, Facebook, Twitter. Then also down below, you're going to find all of the activities lined up for you so you can see how long this is. This is one of the shorter lessons. A lot of the lessons on applied digital skills have multiple sections that students need to go through. So it could be up to a week or 2 weeks of content for students, which is really kind of cool. This one is maybe, I would say, a day's lesson plan in like a junior high and high school, a 45-minute to an hour lesson. In elementary, like late elementary, about the same as well. And so that's kind of the time kind of focus here, is about an hour. Google recommends it's 45 to 90 minutes, so we're right in that space. The other thing that you're going to find here is the teaching materials. So we have a lesson plan, a sample rubric, certificates of completion for your students, and the ability to download all the videos in the series. So if you don't want your students to do this on applied digital skills, you can put this on Canvas or on Google Classroom or on a Google site, or you can send it to your students as they go through. And then as always, you can sign in for more features down below. All right, with that said, let's jump into this particular lesson. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what the homepage looks like. You're going to see a video here in the center. And what's great about that video is if you click the 3 dots on the video, you can download, you can add captions, you can change your playback speed, or you can do picture in picture. So it makes it really simple for students to make good choices about what helps them make it through the project. You're going to find over on the right-hand side the instructions for this particular part of the module, the shared work where students can submit their work if they sign in, and then again, a reminder to sign in for the course. So down here, we can go ahead and click through the lesson. And I'm going to go through this lesson with you in depth here in a few minutes. So you can see most of them have the videos and the instructions over here on the left-hand side. Most of the videos are very short too, between 2 and 5 minutes. I don't think any of the videos I've ever seen have gone over 5 minutes, which is really nice to keep students' attention span. This is the end of the unit right here. And the students, if they sign in, they do get a certificate of completion with their name on it and the date they completed, which for some students, that's really helpful for portfolio work and things that they're doing. The last thing that they're going to see is the quiz. I'm not signed in, so this is where the quiz would come up. Most of the quizzes are pretty straightforward, multiple choice, short answer, true, false, those sorts of things. But they help students to reflect on their learning and make sure we understand exactly what's going on. And then finally, here's the extensions page. A lot of the lessons have extensions on every single one of them, but be careful, not every single one of them has it. So a lot of them have it, some of them don't. The extensions are just short videos that kind of add a new dimension. So this is a great, again, for those students who are way ahead and they finish early, they're doing amazing stuff, and you just want to help them explore even further. One of my favorite extensions we'll talk about here in a few minutes is make a digital footprint poster, which would add a whole nother class period onto this particular assignment. So very cool stuff. All right, with that said, we're going to jump in and we're going to go look at how to do this particular lesson. I'm not going to go into the digital footprint content. I think we'll hit that at the end. We'll talk about what it is, what a digital footprint is, those sorts of ideas, and some of the theoretical and ideas with that. But for now, I'm going to talk about how they present this lesson and what kind of things you want to prep your students with. Just know that a lot of the theoretical stuff about digital footprint and what it is and how it works in our society is covered in these videos, which is really nice. And it's very straightforward and simple for our students. All right, I'm going to go back to our website. So if I scroll down just a little bit, you're going to see our starter project. So inside the picture and at the top here, there's a link. It is a forced copy link. So when you click it, it's going to take you to Google Sheet and it's going to make you a copy. Now you can feel free to share this with your students, share it with your teachers. I've set this up for you so that you can jump right into the lesson if you want to jump ahead and have the sheet ready for your students. In this activity, what students are basically going to do is they're going to brainstorm either on their own or in small groups online actions that they do every day. So things like logging into social media, watching TikTok, playing video games online, watching Netflix or other streaming services, turning in work on Classroom, texting their friends, and so on and so forth. There's a lot, by the way. I was doing a little thought experiment with this about how many I do, and it's like 40 or 50 different things that I do daily online, which is kind of insane. As they go through, they're going to brainstorm those activities and list them down below under online actions. And then in each of the columns, the students can change these to their name. And then underneath it, if they put an X that they have to represent that they have done, or they do that on the daily, then they move off and it's conditionally formatted to change the color of it. So it marks it off really nice for the student as they go through. So it makes it easy to see. Okay, so I've set that up to get you ahead. That's where we're going to go. I'm going to show you how to do this over the next couple minutes. But I wanted to show you the end product and know that if you need to, you can jump all the way to this, use this in your classroom, share it out with your students, and you're good to go. As just an aside really quickly, any Google Doc, so this is Docs, Slides, Sheets, and Forms, and Drawings. If you go up to your URL and make sure that it's shared with everyone, then you can go up here to your URL, change this edit to copy, and it changes that to a forced copy link. So if you want to share this out with your students, it's a great way to go as well. Now to show you from scratch how to do this, what we're going to do is we're going to use my favorite shortcut, which is to do sheets.new or docs.new, slides.new, drawings.new, forms.new. And what that does is it gives us a brand new sheet to work off of. All right, so let's work this through. So on the technical side, what we're going to do is just a couple simple actions. And this is explained in the video in great detail to the students. Okay, so the first thing they're going to do, as always, add a title at the top. So I'm going to go digital footprint. And I call this template, but I'll just call this, I'll put my name on it this time. Okay, so have your students do that. Now, in the video, they recommend students could work on their own or they could work in groups. If they work in groups, then they need to go ahead and share this document with their classmates so that they can all work together on it. Now, students, in my experience, students in the lower, like middle grades, so like 6th, 7th, 8th, if they've worked with Google before, they know this pretty well. So it might take a second to explain it, but it's helpful in the video. They definitely walk you through that. All right, then we need to set up our chart here. So the first thing we're gonna do is up here at the top, we're gonna add digital, sorry, just wanna make sure I get the right term, online actions, that's what it says. Online actions in the first column. Now, to make sure this is kind of differentiated from the rest of the column, this isn't something that Google does in the video, but I'm going to show you really quickly. The first thing I do is hit bold, so it makes it a little bit bigger. I'm going to go ahead and go over just a couple to my alignment and put that center. I'm going to give it a little bit more space right off the bat because I know my students are going to be writing more than one word down here, so they might need a little bit more space. If you don't know, if you go ahead and hover between like A and B here, and you get the the two directional arrow, and you double click, it'll resize it to shape around the text. The other thing that you could show students, and this might be like an upper grades assignment, is next to our alignment here, we have our vertical alignment too, so I can change that up if I want to. But we also have our text wrapping. So this one is overflow. That means it's going to go into the next cell, but this one is called text wrap. So if I go ahead and click on A, and it goes all the way down here, and then click text wrap, now everything that I put in there should wrap around just like that. So kind of cool that you're able to do that for an entire column really quick. The other thing I did really quickly as well, just like I clicked the A here, I can click the 1 here and get all my rows here. And I'm just going to go ahead and color these. I like having a nice background to set them apart as a kind of a header row. So I'm going to go ahead and not change text color, but my fill color right next to it. And I'm just going to grab this blue. I like this blue. I think it matches really well. You can go in here again and change that up. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight that. Down here it says custom, and you can go ahead and play with the actual color. Maybe make it a little bit more pale. I can change it to a green or a red or whatever I want. But I like that little color right there. So I'm going to change it to that. We're good to go. So nice little way to do that. And that gives me all the rows across in that same color. The last thing I did that's not in the Google videos, but I think it's super helpful for students to know and for us to teach them, is go ahead and go up to view and freeze. And I just freeze the first row, because what that does is it just keeps it at the top. If I scroll down and let's say the students come up with 100 actions online that a student or a person can do in a day. Well, if they scroll down, online actions stays there all the way through. All right, the last thing I'm going to do really quick here is add my name. So this is the thing that Google asks you to do. If you're working in groups, students are encouraged to use like C, D, E, and they could go all the way across. You could do this as a class and everyone shares. You could kind of brainstorm with them. That's one of the extensions I kind of thought about as well. Every student could have a column here. They could all conditionally format, and you guys could come up with a list of online actions together of 100 online actions down there, because there's a lot of cool stuff that you could work with. All right, let's get into, I'm going to add a couple other people in here. Let's go Harry Potter. Let's do Dumbledore. There we go. Let's add Snape in here. Cool. So we're going to grab those three, highlight all three of them, just click bold. Again, I'm going to grab my entire row 1 and go ahead and horizontally align it. And then I'm also going to vertically align it. And then I'm just going to go ahead and get my double arrow and make sure that I have enough space for everyone. All right. So let's get into conditional formatting. So from here, students would do activities and brainstorm for like 10 minutes. Like, you're not going to need a ton of time. It's mostly, I always think of it as like a speed activity. How many can you come up with in 10 minutes that would go on this list? And so they come up with all those activities and they've got them all listed there. They're ready to roll. Next thing that Google asks the students to do is create some conditional formatting. So this is teaching the students how to work with work with sheets in a way that allows them to have a little bit sortability with their form, which is really, or their sheet, which is really cool. So what we do is I'm going to go ahead and highlight one of my columns with my names on it. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight my name really quick. So I've got all of B. So that's, again, just by clicking on the B at the top, highlights everything down the way. Now you could do this alternatively and just highlight all of the column, or sorry, the parts of the column that have activities next to them. But I find it's just easier to grab the whole column and just roll with it on this particular activity. So to do conditional formatting, we go up to Format, go down to Conditional Formatting. It's going to give us a pop-up. Notice that it's already recognized B1 to B1000. It's the whole row, or sorry, the whole column. So it's ready to go. The first thing we're going to do is format rules, format cells if text contains, and we're just going to add an X. Okay, so straightforward, simple. We're going to go down here to formatting style. We're going to change this color to this red right here. So now it'll be black text on a red background. Hit done. And now we have that rule right there. So we're going to go ahead and do that for all four of these rows. So I'm going to add another rule. Text contains X. Change the default style. I'm going to do that orange. Cool. Let's do D. Notice that it disappears whenever I click on like DE or any of the letters up at the top. It's because the rule is only for that particular column. So if I change columns, that rule disappears. So that's why it's going away. It's something that I've worked with a few teachers going, oh, my rule disappeared. No, you're good. It's there. Just make sure you click back, and we'll show you that here in just a second. All right, last one here. Gonna go out and grab this orange, click done, and we are good to go. Oh, I think I messed up there. Let's try that one more time. See, sometimes we make mistakes. So text contains X, and then let's change it to that color. Done. That looks better. There we go. So we can go back and see our rules really quickly there. They're good to go. So now let's say that this one is logging into Google, and this one is going to Hogwarts website. And this one is using Google Sheets, so on and so forth. So all I have to do if I'm a student is put an X in that column that I do all three of those, or I could be like, I only do two, or I could just do one. There you go. And so now we have our colors set up there. They're ready to go. What's fun is if you were working on a sheet with like, let's say 10 or 15, 20 students, you could have them all go in here, create their own rule, and pick their own color for their conditional formatting. And then you'd have a great kind of like view of it's just kind of this beautiful color of rainbows. And then also the students would be able to show you what the online activity they're working on is. So the next thing that Google asks the students to do is just to talk about this for a few minutes. What is a digital footprint? Why do you do these certain actions on the daily? What are the things that drive you to use those particular websites or places on the web? And I think this is such a valuable activity for students to work through. Again, this would be the end of it. So you could have them have that conversation. You could do it as a group, full class. You could have it as a coaching, working with one-on-one with a student, but having that conversation is really essential for the end of the activity. So with that said, we're going to step away from this particular sheet just for a second. We're going to go back to our website. If you are new, by the way, to Sheets, I just want to show you this particular video really quick. We're not going to watch it, but please feel free to view it on your own time. It's about 40 minutes long. This is a video that I produced last fall for UEN and GEGUtah with Deanna Taylor from Jordan School District here in Utah. And the video walks through both forms and sheets and everything you need to know for Google Certified Educator Level 1 and Level 2. So it's a really cool set of videos that will walk teachers through quite a bit of stuff. The other thing that we're going to look at really quickly, and this is where I wanted to get to, is Google has some applied digital skills extensions on this particular lesson. And three of them are all of them are interesting, but three of them I think are kind of almost essential for learners. So the first one here is, what does your digital footprint say about you? We can go back to our extensions And this is the first one that we're going to see right here. The second one we're going to look at is shape your digital footprint. And the third one is make a digital footprint poster. You do have other ones, add weight to your digital footprint and your ideal footprint. Both of these are really good. I would say your ideal digital footprint would be a longer activity because you're creating a presentation, but students would really work with it. So let's go back with this particular, the first one here, which is what does your digital footprint say about you? And this one, it's a simple extension that you could have on top of having the conversation. So going back to our form here, or sorry, our sheet, let's say that I want to, the teacher poses a question. Why do you log into Google? Why are you using that tool? Okay, so the student clicks on the cell right here, okay? And up here in the top box, our toolbox right here, we can click on this one where it looks like a little speech bubble with a plus sign, or you can hit Control, Alt, and M. This inserts a comment, okay? So students can comment on the box and say why they use that particular site. So like, for instance, I log in to Google to check my email, calendar, and to start my work for the day. Okay, hit comment, and we're good to go. They could also hit plus and then that person's name. And there's my email for you set. We can send that to me. And or they could put in the teacher's email. So every student assigns a comment that they're making about why they use a certain tool to their teacher. So this extends that conversation even further and makes it even more interesting for the overall class. So this is a great little extension that would take 5-7 minutes, teach the kids another digital skill with the plus comment and how to do a comment, but also extend the discussion about digital footprints and digital citizenship. So really cool little extension. The second extension is shape your digital footprint. So we're going to go back to this. It's very, oh, sorry about that. It's a very similar to the one that we just did. In this case, students are going to highlight their name at the top, add a comment, and state 3 ways that they can improve their digital footprint. So this would maybe be, I think of this as like a bell ringer for the next day to remind them of what we did the previous day, to kind of get that conversation continuing to go. What are the things that we could do to improve our digital footprint? What are some ways that you've reflected on your digital footprint over the last 24 hours? And let's dive into those right here. So again, you could add a plus comment, and then those are stored for the students, which is really fantastic. All right. The last extension I want to talk about in this video is make a digital footprint poster. So this is something that you would be able to have the students create, talk about what's in their digital footprint, but also what makes a positive digital footprint, and then make it in another application, so extending their digital knowledge. So up here in insert, I'm going to go ahead and click on an empty cell. Actually, for the sake of this, I'm going to create a brand new sheet just because it's a little bit easier here. So I'm going to go ahead and notice that I'm on A1 here. I'm going to go ahead and hit insert, drawing. And when I do that, it opens up Google Drawings, and I can go ahead and start drawing and typing in here a poster about my digital footprint. So I'm going to go ahead and do an image search really quick. I'm going to go footprint. Oh, that looks good right there. Move that to the center. I'm going to add some text. And then I can go ahead and add some lists and add some color, whatever I want to do. And once I'm done with this particular poster, if I hit save and close, it's going to load it up on that sheet. So this would be something where your students could do this on their own. They could do this in Google Drawings if they want to. They could do it in Google Docs, whatever they'd like to, but it'd be kind of cool to have a sheet for every single student across the bottom here, and they make their poster, and it's their own poster of what digital footprints mean to them. It's just a great little extension that would take, 10, 15, 20 minutes. It doesn't have to be a perfect poster, but it would help the students to extend that knowledge and restate it in a way, and do one of my favorite things in a classroom, which is creation, letting students create and build something out of their particular thought process that actually can be turned in. So, and this is a great little tangible lesson for them. Again, there's 2 more extensions here. Add weight to your digital footprint so you can think more about what you do in daily activities online to support positive digital footprints. And then also talking about what your ideal footprint would be. What do you want people to take away when they look for you online? All right, with that said, we're going to go back to our GEGUtah and Applied Digital Skills site. So those 3 extensions are here. You can go ahead and click on the play button. All the videos are ready to roll for you. You can watch those. Just making it a little bit easier for you to view those. And then also, just a reminder, any of the videos that are on Applied Digital Skills are downloadable for use wherever you'd like them to. So this was a Google site that I made for this project, and I just downloaded them, put them on my drive, and upload them to my site. So makes it really easy, really flexible set of tools for teachers. One thing that you could also talk about with your students is down below every single lesson, they have this little notice right here. This is great digital citizenship and great digital learning is copyright. So this talks about copyright, creative. This is all of the Applied Digital Skills lessons are under a Creative Commons Attribution Share Alike 4.0 international license. You can click on that link. It'll actually take you to Creative Commons and explain what that is. And so this is another great little copyright activity you could talk about with students to make sure they understand what that is. All right, let's get into our remixes and extensions here. So again, these are more programmatic. These are kind of getting you thinking about what you could do at your school to do more throughout the year, throughout what you're working on. So the first thing that I wanted to show you is mostly for Utah teachers. You could look at this as a teacher outside of Utah. Maybe you have an analog in your state that you're using. I would love to hear about that. Shoot me an email or hit me up on Twitter or Instagram. I'd love to hear about it. But Utah's Online Library is Utah's free library that we pay for through UEN for every teacher and student in the state of Utah. I'm not going to log into it and show you all the steps, but this has a library for K-12, colleges and universities. It has links to our public libraries, and it has our homepage. What's fantastic, and there's also a preschool version, which is really cool, getting students as early as pre-K working on this. Why I'm bringing this up is that one of the best ways to support students in their digital literacy and digital citizenship is to show them how to find appropriate information online and professional information online. A lot of students will go to a random website, cite it for a paper, or talk about it and kind of think of it as the quote unquote right idea. The problem is that, as we know, there's a lot of misinformation and problematic information online. So showing students where to find good information that is appropriate for school use, appropriate for student use, is vital. It's so important to the overall processes with students. And so Utah's Online Library is a great answer for that for students. If you're in the state of Utah and you haven't used this, feel free to contact me. I'd be happy to give you the login information for this to hand out to your students. We're just not allowed to post it online publicly, which is why it's not here on this site. But feel free to contact me or the current UEN product manager, which is Danny Sloan, to get more information about it. Or come out to a presentation sometime or schedule one for your school. We'd be happy to come out and talk to your school about digital citizenship, digital literacy, and Utah's Online Library. All right, so that's the first one. Again, if you're not a Utah teacher, that's okay. You've got to have an analog somewhere in your state that you can work with, or somewhere in your country that you could work with, and start using that, start finding that. Or alternatively, make a collection of where students could find accurate information. We got to find that online. All right, number 2 for programmatic stuff is the ISTE standards. If you're not familiar with ISTE, it's the International Society for Technology in Education. They run a giant conference every year. It's usually at the end of June. I'll be presenting at it in 2022, which if you're there, come by and we'll talk for a few minutes. I'd love to talk digital citizenship and digital literacy with you. But the ISTE puts out also the ISTE standards, which are just a fantastic collection of standards for 21st century learning for students. So they have 7 of them: empowered learner, digital citizen, knowledge constructor, innovative designer, computational thinker, creative communicator, and global collaborator. And each one, if you click on it, it will show you the actual specific standards. It has a video to walk the students through and some links to what that might actually look like in classrooms. it's invaluable. And what's great is that this is for students. So this is what we would expect our students to be able to do. But there is also standards up here for educators, education leaders, coaches, and for computational thinking. So all of these programs help to support technology and appropriate technology use in schools. Now, when we say that, it's not saying, hey, you need to use X program or X tool in your classroom. It's more things like, again, going back to knowledge constructors, students plan and effectively employ effective research strategies to locate information and other resources for their intellectual or creative pursuits. Talk about Utah's online library right there. That's a great way to work with it. Or for instance, going to digital citizenship, which is a great topic. Students cultivate and manage their digital identity and reputation and are aware of the permanence of their actions in the digital world. Having students do this lesson that we're looking at, understand your digital footprint, would hit the SISTE standard and help them understand it in their work. So this is a really valuable set of standards to work off of and help develop some programmatic thinking in your building. Even if you're not going to ISTE, even if you're not affiliated with ISTE in any way, this is a way to really dive in and understand from a programmatic, from a larger scale standpoint, how to use and how to employ teaching and learning in the 21st century, which is such a valuable tool. All right, and the last one here is, speaking of ISTE, this is from ISTE. It's a video on YouTube. This is Richard Culada's ISTE keynote on digital citizenship called Rethinking Digital Citizenship. This is from 2018 in Chicago. I happened to be there live and I watched him give this speech, which was really cool. It's one of my favorite talks about digital citizenship. A lot of times when we talk about digital citizenship and digital footprint, it's in the schema of no's. These are the things that we don't want students to do. And what he talks about in this video is actually, let's talk about the good things that students do. We want to talk about the things they should be doing, supporting people online, having kind interactions, employing interesting and engaging strategies for working with each other online, and generally just being good people online. And that's what his entire talk is about. And it's just a fascinating 10-minute video that I think many educators would really get a kick out of to understand in their classroom what this means for 21st century learners. So definitely recommend this video. Check it out. There's lots of great keynotes from Richard Culada. So check his work out and see what it says about your classroom, because with digital citizenship and digital literacy, the biggest thing that you can reflect on is how does it work in my classroom? And I think lessons like this applied digital skills lesson, all the applied digital skill lessons that I've worked on over the last 8 weeks, and basically anything that we work with digital tools is super important for us to understand and work with and engage with our students in. Because if we start to engage with principles of digital literacy, digital citizenship, then our students are going to be starting to engage with it, because it's just going to filter down to them through our conversation. So with that said, folks, again, just going back to our homepage on the site, you can find all of this information at go.uen.org/lowercase b, uppercase T, number 9. My name is Matt Winters. I'm a UEN instructor. My email is mwinters@uen.org. You can find all the lessons here along with the videos, and I'll be posting the Understand Your Digital Footprint video, just like on the other ones, like the Create Comic Strip. Oh, sorry, the video is right here. I had the Create a Comic Strip on there today. Here's the Introduction to Machine Learning. We'll post that video on here. This is a great resource for all teachers, so feel free to use it, share it with whatever teachers you'd like to, and feel free to get in contact with me as well if you have any questions or worries. But thank you so much. Again, we'll be doing another series of these in May and June, another 8-week series, so join us then for that. But otherwise, thank you so much for your time today. Enjoy. Go get out there and teach your students something about digital footprints. Thanks so much. Take care.